Yeah.
They're just clueless, absolutely clueless.
No.
See, my problem with that statement is
I also hear
that if I was part of them guys at the top, like Matt Hancock and that, it wouldn't have looked like I messed up at all. In fact, it looked like I'll be winning because I'm still getting my bonuses. I still got my own private house. I can still do what I'm doing. In fact, you know, the people that were threatening me in the past because they were catching up to our level of status, they've literally dropped now, so there's less problem for that. In fact, I've caused more regulations now, so, you know, I can live how I need to live, and our people can live how we need to live, and we can make our money, the big businesses. But everyone else, they're dying off believing a narrative that we're saying there's a virus out there and we're trying to help you. So in that basis, I would say they don't look like.
Okay, now it's clear.
Yo, what's going on, people? Big up yourselves all the time and every time. Back with us again, RFN, Real Fake News, coming straight at ya. Jeez. With myself, Jago, today, and today I've got, boom.
You have got Renee. Hey, hello, hi. Hope you're all doing good.
Man, like. You know what time it is, people there. Goats in the building.
Come on, you know how it goes. So I hope everyone is safe and everyone is happy. That's the main two things we want to spread through our channel, really.
Straight up.
So weeks are going by. We're still in this national lockdown. One main thing that I have noticed myself, which is a bit weird, is that the first lockdown that we had seemed to be a lot stricter than this lockdown, I feel this lockdown, people are just roaming about like the dinosaurs. Do you think this lockdown is serving a purpose at the moment?
For them, it ain't really serving a purpose for anyone else, is it?
Not really.
No, it's not.
I don't think.
I mean, I guess
straight up,
it
I don't think
is kind
it
of
is.
serving a purpose, you know, just in terms of, I guess if people are not mixing, then it's going to reduce the rate of transmission, hypothetically.
Yeah.
I guess that's the only kind of positive, you know, if the results show it works. But I guess when you've still got things open and people are not following the rules, whether or not we agree that the rules are right or wrong, it's going to bring up these issues where it's probably looks like it's not effective when it could be effective if everybody was abiding by the rules.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that was the purpose of the lockdown, not to strictly lock down as a shutdown, but more so to kind of encourage people not to be intermingling more so than they would do normally, I suppose. Question is, has that slowed down transmission?
Yeah, go on.
Has it slowed down the transmission of the infection? Sorry.
I believe it has to an extent, but then obviously this new variant has decided to rear its head and cause the infection rate to rise quite rapidly. You see what I'm saying? So
but
I believe it was doing that.
Do we know so like basically when we came back out of lockdown in July or August, it was July, right? When we opened, or June?
Yeah, I think it was July.
July, whatever.
No,
when we opened back up.
May.
No, it was June. It was June.
Then? June. What was the transmission rate then to allow us to go back to some kind of normality? Do you know what I mean? What was it then?
Yeah.
Does it no?
Would you even call when we got when basically you could say we got let back out? Like, would you class that as some sort of normality anyway? Because there was still a bag of restrictions. They started putting COVID marshals out on the street. You know what I mean?
I use normality loosely, like the new normal. Basically, when we had a bit more freedom of going out and stuff, and then it came to August, help out to eat out. you know, what was the transmission rate then for them to, you know, even be like, well, it's still bad, but we're going to still let this go ahead.
We can let them. Yeah. I just think that they get to a point where it's like, you know what, we have to let them out. If they had their own way, we still wouldn't have been out from back in March. I believe if they had truly had they just know that people wouldn't have it. Like, people will start just not listening and going out anyway. So I do think they think, you know what, we have to let them out at some point. We can't just keep them indoors.
Well,
They're going to start rebelling.
I think we've even got to that point where people are just going out anyway, man. I mean, even in my shop, I have, you know how many OAPs that come into my shop?
Yeah, no. Like, right at the present moment now, yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, people are just going out willy-nilly. They don't really care too tough. You know what I mean? People are using either the exercise term really loosely, or they're just exercising the rules really loosely and trying to bend it a lot. You know what I mean? You have got a few people that want to go by the rules. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that I don't want to be out there and catching it. So, like, if I've got to be indoors, I'm indoors, innit?
So you agree to the lockdown? I'm just doing it
for literally safety. I do agree to the lockdown to an extent. To an extent, I do. Like, I'm not going to say I don't. You know what I mean? Because the way I see it is I'm someone that has underlying health problems. You know what I mean? And if I do catch it, I am worried. You know what I mean? Not only that, there's people around me. You know what I mean? When I'm at work, I'm around other people. Like, so obviously I've got to worry about them sort of things. And where I do, it causes me to think, do you know what? If they're locking down, I'm staying indoors, innit? Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, no, fuck that, I'm going to go out. I don't care what they're saying. Because if I catch it, then that's me, innit? Like, my goose could be cooked, I don't know. You see what I'm saying?
With that being said, like, does it scare you then? Does the whole COVID thing scare you? And do you believe it is as what it is?
It worries me. As I said from the beginning, I believe there's a virus here. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people that say, oh, there's not even a virus and stuff. I believe there is a virus I blatantly do believe it. You know what I mean? I know people that have caught it. You know what I mean? I know people that have been at a really bad stage with it. You know what I mean? So I fully believe that it's on the planet and it's here. You know what I mean? So where I believe that, I've got to be vigilant for myself and the people around me. You know what I mean? And that's who I'm doing it for. I'm not doing it for the government. I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm technically not doing it for anyone else apart from me and them. You see what I'm saying? So, like, that's my reasoning for adhering to the lockdown. It's not because they just said so or anything like that. Bun that. You know what I mean? Like, because as we know, the recovery rate's still quite high. You know what I mean? All right, there is a new variant, but it's more to do with infection rather than how lethal it is. You know what I mean? And what it's actually doing to the body. You see what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, if that's the case, it's even more so that I stay indoors. It's you can catch it much easier now. You see what I'm saying?
So,
but at the same time,
with that kind of feeling, would you take the vaccine? Oh, well, okay, we've already established that you won't take it, but do you feel like it could be
I'll take my chances. Maybe for some people, as I said, maybe for some people, you know what I mean? And if that's what they feel when they feel to go and take that, cool, more power to you. I'm just saying I would rather take my chances. I don't trust the vaccine. I don't trust it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to take something I don't trust. You know what I mean? So that's just, as I said, that's just me. That's just me still. I mean, I'm doing this for my own reasons. I'm not doing it for reasons that they're asking me to do it for or anything like that. You know what I mean? I'm not doing it for anyone else. I'm doing it for me and the people around me. That's my actual reasoning. You know what I mean? For adhering to anything. Otherwise, I'd be a wild one and just go, like, I've done all that. I'll be going out. Like, I'll be real, I'll be going out.
I hear that.
I mean? So I'll be trying to find studio time or something. I'll be trying to do something stupid. You know what I mean? So
I hear that. I mean,
but that's just me anyway. That's just me. That's my reasoning.
Yeah.
I suppose looking at it from one point of view, you could say that they've done their job very well. Considering b.dot is a man of analysis, and for the fact that you fear something that you've probably been through a lot worse in your life.
Mate, I've had swine flu.
It has happened. I
caught swine flu.
Yeah, I know you caught.
You know what I mean? Like, so the last sort of pandemic that was the last sort of like mini pandemic that was around. I was one of the people that actually caught it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking. I'm I wasn't even laying on bed. I was laying on the floor. I thought I was gonna die for a week.
But you've also,
I
but you've
and
also
I don't ever want to go through something like that again.
But you've also caught many other influenzas in your lifetime. You've caught many other bacteria in your lifetime and all the rest of it as well. And you've dealt with it. Your body's dealt with it as it has.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, though.
No, I'm not saying nothing, Casey. I'm just saying, as in a fear factor, which has been drummed into the media. Which I think it's the fear factor. With me, it's the fear factor for experience. Yeah,
it's actually not the fear factor through it's more fear factor for experience, because obviously I've been through swine flu, and that was really bad, and I don't ever want to feel that sort of way again. From what
did you have to take something? Did you have to take a vaccine for it or something?
I had to take Tamiflu. I got given Tamiflu.
Huh?
I was taking tablets. I took these tablets called Tamiflu.
Okay.
And literally after I started taking those, and literally after 2 weeks, I started to feel better. The first few days, I was able to breathe again.
Okay.
It was mad. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, just saying, Jay, going back to what you just said before to b.dot, maybe not necessarily like the flu, but a lot of other things which may have arisen in the past. We've had vaccines for the majority of them. So the effects of what they would have been in the past might not be as bad as what they are now. And obviously with COVID, it's a whole new thing, hence why it's scary. It might, there's obviously some things which don't add up, but it is, still a bit scary in itself.
It's still quite worrying. Yeah, it's still quite worrying. I mean, I still think you've got to be wary of it. You have to be. If you're not, then
if they used the media 15 years ago to do it to an influenza that happened back then, you would have the same outcome. It's not anything different. It comes down to psychological situations, innit? Or operations, really, innit? Like, when obviously we're going to war, they make sure they drum in certain emotions and certain feelings of fear for people to go to war. I mean, based on the media front, anytime when they're doing a big push on something, it's based on sales tactics or psychological sales, isn't it? It's a subconscious thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they've done it throughout centuries and centuries, man, of media, since they've had ways of getting information across to people. Even back in the day in villages, they'll have certain people to run out and tell the village people, this is what's going on, this is what you need to believe for people to listen to the king. So we know that that's 100% already there. And we know that the media at the moment, or not even the media, technology is at its highest point in our whole lifetime that we've ever seen, of basically not controlling us, but feeding us the understandings that we have. Like you're saying, we've got smartphones, GPS. We're at such a height of technology that it's the information that's coming out. It's just very susceptible. Even though we don't listen to it, in the back of our heads, we still have that fear when we hear death. I mean, myself, I ain't not scared of this virus, but in the back of my head, every so often, if I have a little pain in me, I think, oh mate, could this be corona? And it's only because I've heard this so much in the back of my head. I have this subconscious fear of something which doesn't need to be in the back of my head, innit? Like, back of my head should be my dreams and my goals, innit? It shouldn't be worrying about other things like that. So, and I totally agree. The virus exists, and the virus kills 100%.
I'm still gonna stand by what I said in earlier shows. I do believe this virus is not naturally occurring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I will always stick to that. I don't care what anyone says. I will stick to that. But I still reckon that it's something to be wary of, because it still has killed millions of people.
But going to Renee's question at the beginning, do you agree with lockdowns? She didn't ask me, she asked you. Don't know why she didn't ask me.
No, because b.dot was talking, innit?
No.
I mean, I know what you think, but because b.dot, it's whatever b.dot said, which made
I hear that. Nah, I hear that, Rich. I hear that.
But
Yeah, no,
Jay,
like,
Jay,
but
you agree with lockdown? Tell me your thoughts and feelings, please.
Before I tell you my thoughts and feelings, yeah, remember, guys, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget, yeah.
don't know.
Make sure you
Like,
share the team
subscribe,
and big up
share,
yourselves all
all
the
that
time,
good
yeah.
stuff.
Bare love. Boom.
All that
Make
good
sure you
stuff, all
comment.
that
We
good
need the
stuff.
comments.
Yeah, we
We
need the
to see
comments.
people
man.
so we can speak to you.
Exactly. We're here,
Jeez.
man. We're here.
So no, I don't agree with the lockdown purely based on basis of we've had a lockdown, which was meant to prevent, which they were meant to find a prevention of COVID and the transmission of it. But like b.dot stated, we still, when we came out of lockdown, we still had to, there was still transmission. We still had to wear masks. We still had to stand 6 feet away. We still had to do all the rest of it. So for me, if it was a fact that they done the lockdown the first time, yeah, and even if the lockdown took 6 months the first time, and we came out and COVID-19 was gone, or it was near enough gone to a minimal, then another strain came, then I would say, yeah, let's do another lockdown. Because it makes sense, it locked it off last time, but because it didn't do that, I just feel like...
If lockdown works, then understandable.
Yeah, I just feel like doing this now, I mean, okay, we got a strain that's more infectious, we're locking down. The question is the infection rate slowing down now with lockdown, or is the infection rate still on the rise and we're locked down?
But you know what the problem is with us? In all trueness, we haven't had a lockdown. If we had a lockdown, everything would be shut off and shut down. How they did it, like in China or whatever, that they had a proper lockdown. Nobody was out in the essential shops and whatever. And I think even in China, they had to do things through their phone and stuff like that. If they wanted to order food, it had to be ordered to them. Like, people weren't out on the streets. Everybody was in their homes. Hence the effectiveness, well, the results of the effectiveness there, and I guess in New Zealand as well.
In New Zealand,
so when we're crying about our lockdown, we're crying about a lockdown which isn't even really a lockdown. Imagine if we had a proper lockdown.
People will think they're in prison, mate.
That's what I'm saying. It's almost like prison as it is, and I've never been.
See, that's the thing though. Even though it's a lockdown, to me, obviously, where I've been to jail before, like, just don't feel like jail to me, innit? At all. This is not jail. You know what I mean? If they, as you said, if they had locked down proper, like, when I mean proper, I mean lock everything, lock off, like completely lock off. Then I'd say, you know what, that's a prison environment right there.
No,
you know
that's near. Because remember, you don't get your Xbox straight away. You don't get your camera and your piano in your hat in your cell. You don't get all them nice things in it. Man can't even in a nice thing. Man can't even get them.
I'm saying that, I just saw, I've saved it on my list on Netflix, so there's this prison thing, like, and it's like hardcore, like, people who have, like, been put away for murder and things like that. And then I just saw a clip saying how, somebody was like, why are they living like this? They're basically living in luxury, these type of people, and that's all I can say about it. I need to watch it a bit more. Well, there are just all types of people in I need to see where the prison's located as well. But like, these people have been doing the worst of the worst, but they're living in jail luxury.
Wow.
So I'll watch it. I'll send the link.
It can happen. Like, I'll let you know that it can definitely happen. I've been in jails where certain people they're living life better than when they were outside. Like, and that's not a joke. They would rather be there, because they know their life is 100 times, if not more than that, better than what they'd have doing outside. Outside, they're having to hustle, they're having to this, they're having to that. But when you're in jail now, it's a whole different ball game, innit? Like, 3 square meals made for you, you got a little job going, like, you know what I mean? If you've got enough stuff in your cell, and you can, like, it's mad. Like, you can live a life of luxury. You can.
Yeah, I hear that.
100%. I've seen it.
I have a question though.
Go for it.
If you don't mind me asking. Okay, so imagine we had COVID-19 was non-existent. No, okay, imagine we had COVID-19, that all died to death, and then something else came. Now, what I'm trying to ask is, because this virus came from China, everybody's put the 2 cents in, you know, what it is and that it's not real and that it's made up and all this kind of thing. So if we had some other kind of virus, what would be the whole discourse on that? How would people still think it's man-made, or you know, would people believe it's an actual virus?
So that's the thing. Like there will be people that will reach. What I mean, they will reach proper. You know what I mean, and find some weird stuff to go and try and spread. You know what I mean? So some people will believe it, some people won't. You know what I mean? But there will, you know, there will always be little nuggets of things which won't make sense and will make you think of another question rather than, all right, that's an answer. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes them questions lead you to things that make you think, maybe it is man-made, or maybe this isn't right. Something's gone wrong there. You know what I mean? I see it like that. You know what I mean? A lot of other people don't. Usually it's a little bit like a Lynch mentality, innit? Once it comes from somewhere, they latch onto that, and it's like, right, it's from there, it's because of there, this, America's involved, rah, rah, rah. Like, you know what I mean? It gets like that, and that's what usually happens until you start finding out these little nuggets of things. You know what I mean?
I mean,
that's what I see sometimes. Anyway.
My biggest problem with this is that when people say, it's manufactured in China, automatically I don't know why people think that this is an artificial virus. This is basically 2 viruses that exist in our lifetime that have been basically combined together. So it's a virus. They're viruses. They exist, innit? And for anyone to say that they don't exist is like, wow, you've lost the plot, innit? You're lost. But at the same time, I do believe that. No, I do believe that. If you're out here trying to say, listen, this does this thing, and I've had customers at work, I've had people stand there and tell me, I've had people watch the show, like friends and people that I know have seen the show and what we're talking about, and then they try and tell me that the thing don't exist, and I go, bruv, did you actually watch the show? Did you hear what we were talking about? It's like, yeah. I was like, no, you didn't. You really didn't. Like, please go back and watch it again, and then you will understand what we're trying to say. If you don't understand it a second time, stop watching. Yeah.
And I didn't mean that in that. I told him I don't mean it in a bad way. I don't mean like, just stop watching. Like, you need to go and watch someone that is, I don't know, go watch someone on YouTube that's going to take you down a rabbit hole, mate. You know what I mean? Because we're on a different level to you. Like, unfortunately. You know what I mean? And again, unfortunately, there's going to be people on the planet that are like that. You know what I mean? And I believe that's going to be part of that Lynch mentality. That's that Lynch mentality sort of people there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, sorry, going back to what I was saying, and the thing is, which I always look at, because I always look at the bigger picture like a chessboard. And I think to myself, okay, this is a manufactured virus, two viruses that exist that have been mutated together and it's spreaded, yeah? Now, we know this because we've basically had the media underneath it, and the media has basically pushed it down our throats. Meaning that, number one, we don't know if in the past there have been other manufactured viruses that have been put out there and people have had it and it has passed through systems, because we've got...
What were they? What was that? Other manufactured viruses?
B.dot, you got your hand up, mate?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Wait, so did you say there's been other manufactured viruses?
No, I said that we don't know if there's been other manufactured viruses. But we've got to understand that this ain't the first time that they've done something like
manufactured.
This. Huh?
AIDS is man-made. AIDS is man-made.
AIDS is man-made. There you go. There's another virus which has been manufactured.
AIDS is man-made, 100%.
Have what? Doctors and scientists have said openly that it's man-made.
It's man-made. It was found out to be man-made.
Doctors and scientists have come out and said that.
Yeah. Back to them. And this was years and years ago they were saying that.
Oh, but when I say, I mean...
I'll tell you know what, this is what I'm going to do. Yeah, go on.
Like,
Go on, I'm
I
listening.
know you don't need to trust the media and everything like that, but I mean, have
Yeah,
media,
no, I know.
doctors and scientists said it, or is this hidden?
A couple,
doctors and
I can't.
scientists?
No. A couple of people have been on television stating that it's man-made. What I will do for you is I will actually research and find out these people, and I will send that to you. I promise you, I will do that. You know what I mean? Just so you can see that.
I'll have a look.
Yeah?
I'll try and have
I'll
a look
get that
as well.
done for you.
But
Yeah.
As I was saying, so that's another one that you can send information about. But generally, scientists and engineers and these guys and technologists who work at the top, they're always producing new stuff and testing it out all the time. Sometimes in very closed trials and clinical situations, and sometimes they do it as masses. And
they use different things to experiment with and on, man. You got to remember that.
Exactly. A lot of animals fall short to that, don't they? Unfortunately.
Well, brother, if you're talking animals, all you got is you just look straight to Plum Island, mate. Look at the Plum Island scenario. Just look that up if you need to look that up. That's where apparently there was something got found on a beach, and it was a weird looking animal, really weird looking animal. They called it the Montauk monster. If you want, type that in Google or type that in thing and YouTube and look at that. There was news articles and things about this thing getting found, and so many different articles about different things being found around in the area where Plum Island is literally a few miles away.
Wow. And
Plum Island is literally a whole island, which is actually just a laboratory.
Wow.
Montauk, did you say?
Montauk, yeah, the Montauk monster.
Oh.
Oh, do you see it?
Is that for real?
Yeah, it's for real.
Oh.
There's news things on it. Like you can go on. There's videos of like them on the news, like talking about it on the news and all sorts.
Yeah. Oh, that's different.
And they're trying to say that could come from Plum Island. They say that could come from Plum Island, man. And Plum Island's like, I think they've moved it now, so it's somewhere different. But that's where it was. It got found out to be in Plum Island.
Wow, madness.
Ooh, woohoo! Yeah, okay.
That's just me and my research brain, man. Sorry, me and my research brain there. Sorry.
No, but you know what's weird about it? Yeah, is that some of them almost look like not human, but human animal.
If like there's certain features that make you think, you know what, like you can see that on someone's face, or like it is really strange, really strange. You know what I mean? But at the same time, sorry people, but at the same time, very interesting. It is really interesting, and it's something that I looked into because I found it really interesting, and I thought, I need to look into more of that. And there's supposed to be more on it that I haven't even seen yet, so I'll be looking more into it again.
Boom. And okay then. So back onto the track of what I was saying. So we do know that these have been happening in the past. We do know in the future they're going to be doing this with viruses. And we've got to understand that this is the number one base, that viruses always existed. And since scientists can experiment with anything, there's always going to be experiments. Yeah, there's always going to be that kind of stuff.
It's just sad that we had to experience it in our lifetime.
Very sad. It's unfortunate.
Second thing, this one in itself, this pandemic, we already established, and I'm hoping we all still agree that they've already stated the recovery rate at being what, 97% for the virus.
Something like that. 96.
98.7.
It was between 96 and 98. I know that.
And they also stated, which I hope we still all agree, that 99% of the death rate are people that are over 70 years old.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. So these two factors here. If we look back, not that I've done the research, that I might do the research just to because I like doing that kind of stuff. If we look back at,
you want me to research our
previous, say for instance, previous influenzas, are we looking at
Mhm.
the same recovery rate of influenza, normal influenza, and same death rate? Because we do have a death rate of normal influenza every year. Do we?
See, because obviously, like, we know with influenza, we already know that influenza, common cold, they're coronaviruses. We all know that already. You know what I mean? This is just again a mutated variant, which is took out a lot more people than what is normal.
Okay,
'Cause
so
you think about it,
what I'm asking
yeah.
is that we know that what we've just stated, that 3% of people who catch the COVID-19 die of result of catching it, and 99% of that 3% are over 70s. Yeah. So what I'm asking now is what is the general percentage of deaths of general influenzas? Is it 3%, less than 3%, or more than 3%? Of, say, for instance, influenza.
I don't know the answer, but people were, you know, people were quick to be like, there was more deaths from the flu than what there is from the coronavirus. But that's without knowing figures.
See,
I don't know the figures personally.
Well, from the last figure I saw regarding just normal influenza, the standard influenza, was around 650,000 a year.
What's that, deaths?
600, yeah.
What's that in the percentage?
But again, that's in a certain, I think that's a certain age group.
What was that in the percentage?
That's a particular age
group. Jay, do you not know how to do maths?
He said, well, he only gave me one number. He said 635,000 people died. He didn't tell me out of how many. So I can't do a percentage unless you tell me out of how many people.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, obviously it's on how many people have caught. I don't know how many people would have caught it that year.
Oh, okay.
For that, like, you know what I mean? Obviously, it's millions of people that catch influenza, and out of them millions of people, let's say, for example, 2 million people catch it. You know what I mean? Like, and they're saying every year around 650,000 die of it. But I truly believe a massive percentage of that is a certain age group.
Okay. Okay. So the next question I'm posing is that, if we happily say that 3% of COVID infected patients die of COVID infection, and past influenzas have done, let's just say, around the same ballpark, let's just say between 5% and 2% of people die of the influenzas, of the infected rate, yeah? Now, what the most dangerous thing that's going on now is that there's a lot of focus on a manufactured virus, which is scaring a lot of people, and there's a lot of fear behind this virus that kills roughly the same amount as other influenzas around throughout our lifetime. Now, the fear of this one is not only the fear of this one, which I'm really scared about, is the fact that are people in the future now always going to be scared of viruses? If the virus death count is so low, though, are people, do you reckon, be scared of viruses in the future?
I think what the issue is that not necessarily that they're going to be scared of viruses in the future. I guess it depends on the nature of it and how you get it and how severe the symptoms are. But I think with this particular virus, the main thing is that nobody knows how to basically fix it. That's the problem. If we had viruses and somebody knew how to fix it, you know, there'd probably be a little bit more of a settled attitude.
Yeah. I feel that every year we get influenza, and people take a jab for influenza and they're still getting a year afterwards. So I don't feel like they've got any solutions for many other viruses. I mean, what other viruses have they actually got a vaccine that actually works for that virus?
I think the thing is that they're more, I mean, I don't know the answer to that, but I think the thing is that those other viruses are more, I guess they're more controlled, maybe that's what it could be. And they're not unknown.
We've got to remember, that this coronavirus has had arguably the biggest if not straight up, the biggest propaganda push there has ever been, I've ever seen, to do with an illness, to do with any sort of virus or major illness. When we all know there are major illnesses, terminal illnesses out here, I don't believe they have got anywhere near the coverage coronavirus has got since it's been about. You see what I'm saying? So I do believe if there is going to be something else like this, you know what I mean, then I do believe the propaganda push that they're going to do, the way they're going to use the media is going to be a big factor on how scared people are, how much people know and how much people don't know. You know what I mean? What are they using smoke screens for? What are they being transparent with? You see what I'm saying? So I do believe that's going to be a massive, massive sector.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, OutcheaTV. Remember, RFN. Big up yourselves all the time.
Big red button.
Don't forget to go and check out Instagram, man like b.dot, Rene_LE. Bad boy things, you get me out here. Plus, they're all going to be in the description.
Also, just before we carry on, remember, always jump in the comments. We will meet you there. Do not worry. We will meet you there.
Boy.
Yeah. Start asking us some questions. Give us more topics to talk about, what you're interested in.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Let's engage. Let's engage and have conversations. Let's reason with each other, people.
Indeed, indeed. So we're looking at viruses. And the line of thought that I was going through was the fact that the fear they've put behind this virus, do you think we're going to see in future viruses? Are we going to be, as human beings, not told by the media, but are we going to be naturally now quite scared when viruses come about?
At first, there's always going to be that.
No, maybe.
Again,
it depends how they portray it.
Yeah. And I do believe that at first, usually, you get that, oh no, something's here. What's going on? What's going to happen? We usually get that at first. Everyone's like, at first. You know what I mean? But then, obviously, you get people calming down, wanting to try and listen. And then it gets all confusing. And then, we already know what happens. We know what happens with them peeps there.
So definitely there will be an initial fear when a new virus comes. I suppose that's human instinct, man. Realistically. And then we'll kind of fall back into habit, isn't it? So what is the fear of not even a new virus, but a new kind of, I suppose, mentality of having not human contact as much anymore?
What's the fear of that?
Yeah, of that happening in the future.
We're just having a life that's not a life, isn't it? Like now we're not living. We've missed a year of our lives. We're probably going to miss another year of our lives.
Or at least a good 9 months of it.
Yeah. We can't do the things we would normally do. Can't experience the things we would like to experience. And it's just, it's awful. It's actually pretty awful when you think about it really hard. It's not great.
And you actually deep it, you're not smiling, trust me. This is a movie you don't want to be in.
Trust me.
You don't want to be part of this movie, trust.
So,
unless they're paying me and I'll be part of the movie.
Here's the thing though, here's the thing, you're gonna have to pay me a lot of money, and I only want to be an extra. I don't want to be no cost.
You don't want to be the main character.
No, none of that. I know I act and all that, but I really don't mind being an extra in this, innit?
I hear that.
I don't mind being a walk-on background. I don't mind doing any of that. Supporting artists, that's all cool. But once you tell me cast, lead cast, supporting cast, I'll tell you no.
Yeah.
That's what it's all right. I'll pass.
Other side of it than the mentality side of human beings, the regulation side and the laws side. Now, are we gonna see a pullback in them, or are we? But there must be, because we're not gonna wear masks for all our lives, so they're gonna have to pull back that one definitely.
Here's the thing, they will pull that once they know that this is under control to them anyway, to them. Yeah, once it's under control to them, then obviously they will lean off them sort of things, innit? But if something else was to come along, I reckon all they're going to do is, because of what's happened now and how confusing it got and how lax they were, and they saw all of that, they're going to think by going mega hard 100% straight from the get-go, yeah, like I think they're going to try and do something like that. So I reckon they'll reinforce more. You know what I mean? And I think like travel corridors, traveling all together will be stopped, because they've only just stopped travel corridors, isn't it? So obviously, if you've been on holiday in certain places and you come back, you'll have to isolate for 10 days. You know what I mean? They've done that before when it was 14 days, and then they scrapped that for a while, and then they brought it back. I just reckon it will be a lot more stringent, a lot more stoic, stern. You know what I mean? If something else was to come on.
My take on it is that they are just playing as they go. There's not a real plan ahead. Like, they're actually clueless and they don't know. Yeah, they're pretty much winging this whole thing. Because for them to be messed up this bad, they've got no clue, no idea whatsoever. If they had any sense or any, know-how, we wouldn't have messed. They wouldn't have messed up this bad. Yeah. They're just clueless, absolutely clueless.
No.
See, my problem with that statement is
I also hear that.
If I was part of them guys at the top, like Matt Hancock and that, it wouldn't have looked like I messed up at all. In fact, it looked like I'll be winning, because I'm still getting my bonuses. I still got my own private house. I can still do what I'm doing. In fact, the people that were threatening me in the past, because they were catching up to our level of status, they've literally dropped now, so there's less problems for that. In fact, I've caused more regulations now, so I can live how I need to live, and our people can live how we need to live, and we can make our money, the big businesses. But everyone else, they're dying off believing a narrative that we're saying there's a virus out there and we're trying to help you. So in that basis, I would say they don't look like. Yeah, this is what I wouldn't say they're messing up, or I'll say they've obviously got a plan, because, like I said, the way they're moving, they haven't really fallen in any kind of situation. Like, there hasn't been anything bad that's happened to anyone up there. I mean, no one's been taken to court, no one's had fines, all these people have travelled. Boris's dad, all these people, none of these got fines.
These type of people have.
Yeah, I know. So for me, I wouldn't say
and they know how to get out of it.
Yeah, so for me, I wouldn't say they're clueless, and I wouldn't say they messed up at all. I would say they're playing their perfect game plan at the moment. They're doing so nice.
I wouldn't even.
Yeah, but they're.
No, I wouldn't even call it a perfect game plan. No, it's not a perfect game plan, bro.
And the way I say it, bro. No, bro. But if it was a perfect game plan, bro, their perfect game plan is to line their pockets and look after themselves.
Yeah.
And it's at the cost of the people that are underneath them, called the public.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, bro. But that's the truth.
Yeah.
And like straight up and down.
Yeah.
So if that's the way they're thinking, they're wankers for thinking it.
So what do you think they've been doing over all of our lifetime? You think they've been helping us? They've given us a benefit system in this country.
Do you
think they've really been helping?
They're clueless to the fact that they're clueless to the fact that. So I think it's one of those things where they are completely clueless, and it's where they have like a little plan for measures. They have a little plan for things like what's happening now, but they haven't fully thought it through, if that makes sense. So they've got a plan of what they need to do, but it hasn't been fully thought through properly. And because maybe they just didn't expect it to ever happen. And now that it's happened, it's like, oh shit, we've got a plan, but the plan isn't really that good. But let's just put into action what we've got so far, and then just work on whatever it is as we go.
I mean,
it's a little bit like a rabbit in headlights, isn't it? Yeah,
but that's all based on the fact of you live as a human being on this planet, and that's it. If you lived as one of the elites, that's not how you live in it. Yeah, these people already have strategies. If we have people attacking our country via nuclear weapons, if we have infantry coming to our country, if we have biological attacks, if we have cyber attacks, they've already got strategies. They've got people in place that try out these things all the time. They trial out these things all the time. So something like this, they've seen something. But they've obviously seen something like this already. They've tested it out, like you said, with the AIDS, and they've put it out, and they've seen how it reacted, and they saw how the community reacted. So what I'm saying is that,
what the problem is,
obviously,
you have a strategy and a plan.
In hindsight, so what I'm saying is, in hindsight, America, and the UK also have biological weapons just like China have, obviously, just like Russia have, and they also have they also got countermeasures for these biological attacks, just like China has and just like Russia has. So regardless of what's going on, you're saying that they're clueless. They know, they've seen these viruses. They've seen viruses attack. They've seen viruses attack. They have seen viruses attack. They've set viruses off to attack already in the past.
Yeah, but Jay, do you know what? You can only have a plan and a strategy so far. When it comes to things like this, there's only so far that you can go until it actually happens. Because you can plan and think, okay, well, this might happen, so this is what we will do to prevent that. But when it actually happens, it's a whole different ballgame, because then things are going to arise which they didn't plan for or they didn't initially expect.
It's called based.
It's based on every avenue.
It's based on analysis. It's based on analysis. It's like saying what you just said, Renee. It's like saying what you just said. What you have just said is this. What you have just said is this. Oh, if you get in a car, you can. There's a percentage that you can have a crash. So you look at everything. Have a seatbelt on. Make sure you don't use your phone. Make sure you're always watching the road. Have your tests so you know what you're aware of. But people still have crashes. So regardless, there's analysis that are made.
Based on human error.
But this is analysis, exactly. Analysis that are made. It's analysis that is made. So for instance, if they kill a black man in a black community, they've already analysed that if you kill a black man in a black community, you're going to get a whole lot of black people trying to make noise. In that, you're going to get a lot of social media videos and stuff with black people dying. You're also going to get movements starting from people trying to help black people. Then you're going to find communities and organisations that help black people. Now, these people, I'm basic. These people would have looked at all of this already and made an analysis, They probably would have looked at a lot more factors, because these guys, this is what they do in their life. They spent 30 years and analysing societies, analysing viruses, analysing wars, analysing everything, So what I'm saying is that what you believe now, is what you understand now, What we understand now, these people have understood 2-3 years ago. The technologies that we see now, these people have been using 2-3 years ago. The viruses that we know about now, these people have been studying these viruses 10 years ago, from when the viruses started existing.
Why are they so shit at getting fucking making
It's called a plan. It's called a plan. I mean, why would you go to war with another country? Why would you tell the whole world that Iraq has got weapons of mass destruction, and you spend how many years in there, people dying, and there's no weapons of mass destruction, bruv? It's called planning. They want this is what the media is about.
That involve humans controlling it. A virus cannot be controlled unless it's obviously man-made or not naturally.
Okay. So viruses have its own. So viruses have their own lifestyle. So put a virus in a society, then you can see how infectious it is, and you can see how fatal it is. In the death rate. Now, in the whole time that we've been living, like I've said, we don't know what other viruses have been manufactured and that we've caught, and it's gone through our systems, and it's been a test to see if this virus is going to affect the human population. Because they have to do that to see if this virus pops up anywhere, that the human population, the human immune system, can react to this virus if it's a deadly virus.
So you're saying they've got. You're saying they've got plans in place. They've had plans in place for time, Well,
they've had plans to depopulate the world, but from starvation, from hunger, from wars, from disease. We've always said this: wars and diseases are the two main vices they use to kill people off. This is one of the main vices they use to kill people off. Is a virus, is a disease. So knowing that, we know that this is a plan. It has to be part of the plan, isn't it? Makes sense. That kills people.
But if we're talking, I'm just talking. Go on.
No, go on.
I'm just talking on on a general basis from what most average people are seeing right now. Because obviously we're speaking on a different a different plane right now. You know what I mean? So I'm just going on for what we're saying. If that's the case and they've got plans in place, why are they so shit at this plan? Because the unfortunate and disappointing thing is, you've got other countries looking at us going, what the fuck are you doing?
Wait, but here's what I'm saying. Where are you saying that this plan is shit? Where's the shit that's in the plan? Tell me,
Bro,
break it down
listen,
to me. In our
the
level,
things
yeah,
they've
it
got-
is shit
the
for
things
us.
they've got in place.
Yeah, it's shit.
Bro,
It's
the
shit
things
for
they've
us. Is it shit? But it's not shit for them. So that's what I'm saying. So it's not a shit plan. It's actually a really good plan. Obviously, the loser's always going to feel shit. That's what the loser feels,
in the
isn't it?
background,
In a win.
in the background, we don't know how they're really feeling and you know what they're
Yeah,
thinking.
so I'm
For
just
all
going
we
by
know,
what the average person's just
they're
looking
putting
straight
out-
ahead at them.
they're putting out what they're putting out and making it out like they've got everything under control. But behind closed doors, they're like, oh my God, what do we really do? Like, this is not working. But they're trying to make it like, to
So
us,
that's
like,
your
okay,
opinion.
we've got everything
That's
semi
your
under
opinion.
control.
But you haven't got no evidence to actually even show that opinion. But we have got plenty of evidence to show
No.
that their opinion that what they tend to do
Yeah,
is
but
come and tell us
I
one
said it
thing
was
and
a-
they do something else completely different for their own agenda. We've seen this evidence throughout the time. But what you're saying, we haven't seen that evidence. That's just a general opinion.
But I'm also not saying that that's what's happening.
I
I'm
know.
saying that's what could be happening.
I know, but
didn't
we're
say
looking
that's
at
what was happening.
traits. So we know that if someone spits at b.dot, we know genuinely that he's gonna punch them. Yeah, that's a trait in b.dot. He'll protect himself, and if someone disrespected him, he's gonna punch him. So that's a trait. So I know that if I spit on him at any time of my life, that's a possibility. Because that's what b.dot's about. Now, Matt Hancock has been about Matt Hancock for all this time. He's told us lies before COVID. Since he's been in office, yeah, this is what he's been doing. So in that, yeah, I don't see that behind closed doors that he's something completely different. Behind closed doors, he's been doing the same thing that he did 10 years ago. I mean, not 10 years ago, 3 years
but
ago,
I'm
4
not
years
saying
ago.
completely different.
So
I'm
it's more
just-
likely.
in that way. I'm saying
but
it's
I'm saying it's more
completely different
likely.
in the fact that they've got a facade about what they're showing us
Yeah.
and what's really going on behind closed doors.
Yeah, of course.
So
But
he could still be a dick, could still be chatting shit, all these lies to us. Yeah, that could still be happening. However, with the situation that we've got right now, they could still be going behind closed doors like, we've really fucked this shit up. Like, you know, what do we do? Do we keep on lying like we have done?
Nah, so
or, you know,
basically,
do we give them the truth?
their whole agenda is themselves, innit? Yeah. So they'll never say to themselves, "Oh, we're fucking up." They're gonna say to themselves, "Look, how are we gonna make more profit and how are we gonna make more money out of this?" That's all they ever do. So based on that factor,
So it could be a bit of both, though. It could be a bit of both. It could be like we fucked up.
I mean, not
let's
really.
Still try and make money off it.
But if you're saying that factor that he thinks he's fucked up, that means he actually goes to bed at night sleeping and he's got things on his head, but he doesn't. He goes to bed
but they
sleeping happy.
could do.
He goes to bed
But
happy.
none of us know them personally to actually know.
I know. But what I don't know him personally, but what I do know is that he's got his bonus. Yeah, he's allowed to travel. He's allowed to be out. He's allowed to do everything that he said that we're not allowed to do. Not only that, yeah, he's benefiting from everyone else's suffering and widening the gap. So in that, I don't see how a man in that situation could even think that, oh, I'm fucking up. I would think that even if I was me, I would think I'm winning because my whole life is good. He had one of his best friends, yeah, who has a pharmaceutical company. He got him involved straight away with his thing because of the fact that you can do that when you're up there, innit? So what I'm saying is these people at the top, okay, they might show like they might be a bit flustered or something, which they never hardly ever do, but realistically, they're all laughing. We all know this, and it's all in traits of human personality. Like, you can't be me, yeah, and you see me all the time and I'm bare happy, and then behind closed doors I'm crying, because that don't work in human traits. Human traits don't work like that. If I'm a happy person, then I'm a happy person, innit? And I won't end up crying because I'm a happy person, because I see the happy things in life. So that's the human traits, and we can see patterns, and this will come back to patterns in regulations, patterns in human traits. Okay, it might not be exact 100% performance, but it gives you
because I disagree with that a little bit.
Human
traits can,
and that's how you build.
People can portray.
But that's why you enter.
Something
That's
that
why
they're
you
not.
enter any relationship, because you build. You see someone and you look at the patterns. You say, oh, that person, he shouts at people. I know people who shout at people. They've got aggression problems. Generally, that means he might have an aggression problem. That's called a link between the patterns.
Yeah, but sometimes
you make
people
that
who are always
distinguishment.
constantly happy, that doesn't mean that they're happy through and through.
Well, if you did any studies on emotion or psychology, you'd understand that well, not you would understand, you'd know the basis of human trait syndrome, and you would know that there's certain humans that are going to be, there's certain people that's going to be one way, and there's certain people that's going to be the other way. It's not always 100%, like I said, but it's 99%, just like the recovery rate, which is good enough for me, innit? So based on that factor, I'm happy with that information. So we know that these people, regardless of what people think, if they're messing up or not, they're not. There's a plan, and the plan is going very, very well at the moment, and it's because people are pacified.
I hear. If you're going down that line, you know what I mean. If we're going down that sort of path, I fully hear what you're saying. If we're talking like on that sort of depopulation level, if we're talking like to bring it to a certain level of poverty, you know what I mean, certain level of strife, you know what I mean, then I fully hear what you're saying, you know what I mean, because as I said, I've done certain research, and it's not just this country that does it, you know what I mean, or is doing it allegedly. You see what I'm saying? But like, if we're just going on a normal tip, like, I understand what you're saying, but just go, because remember saying, most of the people don't understand what you understand. You see what I'm saying? So there's going to be a bag of people that are just the average Joe that are going to be looking at it straight on at what is the government doing for me, because I am living in this country and they're supposed to look after us. Yeah. And if we're going by that, then they're not doing their job properly. And I believe there is an element of we're doing this and we're doing that and we're making sure this is happening. But behind closed doors, there is an element of, I think we might have fucked up a little bit.
Which, who would mess up this bad? Like, it's not even like they're doing something and they're benefiting.
I think it's a collection of people making decisions.
Yeah, but they're not. How are they benefiting from? Okay, let me try and rephrase that, because obviously they're benefiting in certain ways.
The vaccine's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, of course. There's
the vaccine's going to make their money
monetary gain in it, but for them to mess up that bad and make people hate them, this is not.
It doesn't matter about what people feel, though. It doesn't matter about what people feel, because if it mattered about what people feel, they wouldn't have done what they've been doing to us for the last year and a bit, innit? But they don't care about what people feel towards them. This is the problem. And as you can see, all the small businesses, what happened to all the small businesses and even medium businesses? And this is the country. They don't even care about their own country. They care about their own pockets. Do you not see that? I mean, how can you let small businesses literally collapse and millions of people go into debt straight away and become homeless if you actually felt anything for the country? That doesn't make no sense. Obviously not. Obviously, you've got other agendas if them things are happening. This is what I'm saying. And when I say benefit, this is what I'm saying by benefit, yeah? They are richer, they are better off, they have more control over people, and they have pacified people more. So they're going to create a workforce which are going to be very pacified, that it's going to be working wherever they can work, yeah, to make money. Now, there ain't going to be these people who have got skills, people who have gone into catering and learned how to be a chef over years, and people have been barbers, and people have been dealing with hair, people have been doing all these small businesses, yeah, all these specialists, yeah. They've lost all them years of experience because they can't get jobs in the field no more. All these people in entertainment, yeah, have lost out, who are entertaining the country, and you know, they were doing their thing in it. They've lost out because the hospitality situation now has gone down to the minimal. The entertainment industry has gone down to the minimal. And like, for me, yeah, like when you look at all the different things that's happened, yeah, and you look at someone or a group of people who are still getting bonuses when people are losing their jobs, and they can't even feed the school kids, which they changed now, luckily enough. Like, and they're still getting their bonuses at that time. If they're still allowed to travel, and all their family and friends are still allowed to travel, yeah, going across the country, being even COVID infected like the SNP, the Scottish Minister, yeah, and not getting a fine for it, and just getting a little bit of glorification on the screen, I'm saying that you are benefiting. That's basically like the people who have them privileged golf clubs. Like, they get to go there, no one else gets to do it. Then people will get them privileged houses. People get privileged stuff that no one else can get, only they can get it. And this is what I'm saying, they are benefiting. There's no way that anyone can argue the point that they're not benefiting.
Anyone's saying they're not benefiting. Like, of course they're benefiting, but they're benefiting cluelessly. Like,
How?
In my opinion, I just think they're clueless.
You can't be, well,
in
to be benefiting, you've got to
dealing with the pandemic, in dealing with the pandemic, just in regards to dealing with the pandemic, they're clueless. For whatever else is happening, yes, they're benefiting. Yes, they've got, you know, that bit of control over us, and they're privileged. They're privileged people, number one. However, just the way that they dealt with this pandemic is absolutely shambles.
Yeah,
it's a mess.
Which is perfect.
But then
because...
when it comes to...
Oh. Go on.
Huh? No, I'm just saying, when it comes to... I literally just lost my train of... When it comes to this whole pandemic thing and people losing their jobs and all these small businesses losing their jobs, it's absolutely terrible. It is. It's terrible and it's heartbreaking. But what other way would you suggest that they would deal with the pandemic?
So
obviously, they haven't done a good job in the beginning.
They shouldn't deal with the pandemic any other way than they should deal with it, because this is what they want. They want the confusion. Now, before the pandemic happened, what was actually going on? What was the biggest movement before the pandemic happened that distracted everyone from the biggest movement? What was happening?
What, the Black Lives Matter?
No.
Oh, no, that was during the pandemic.
No.
Before
that.
No.
Before
there
that.
was a massive paedophile ring going on
Thank you.
at that time.
Thank you. So, leaving people in confusion is perfect. They're leaving people in confusion.
It's still going on now. It's just the coronavirus has stopped it from being talked about.
People being in confusion, distractions everywhere. Oh, we don't know what the government's doing, don't know what they're doing. Let's do lockdown. No one cares about Epstein. No one cares about Hillary going to court for paedophilia. No one cares about Tom Hanks become a Greek citizen because he was a paedophile. All this paedophilia stuff, all this children stuff we looked at, these two groups that started, the two communities that started for people who had attracted to younger kids, all this stuff has gone. Where has it all gone? This is the main important thing in our country. We know the king, we know the queen, we know Prince Philip has done stuff, and it was all coming to light. People were getting exposed. There was actually a good thing happening. And then what happened? Coronavirus. And then what happened? All of that good stuff that was getting exposed disappears. And the most important thing is coronavirus and who's handling it and what's been handled. And the people who are benefiting from it, who know that they're part of the paedophilia ring as well, most likely, like, I mean, it's just adding dots in it, like, really, if you look at it. But, I mean, if you want to believe it's a shambles, then, right, if people want to go about and saying that the government's this and that, well, you know, they're all puppets.
But do you not think it's a shambles, or do you think that it's okay? They're dealing with it okay?
Well, we know that they're puppets. We know that they're puppets, and they're just made to do what they're meant to do, innit? Like, generally, innit? So if we've been left in this,
are you saying that they're dealing with it correctly then?
For what they want. Yeah, for their agenda, yeah. Not for our agenda, not for humanity, but for their agenda, yeah.
No, you wouldn't mess up this bad.
Like this,
yeah, for their agenda, definitely.
I'll say like two things.
It's not messed up. I don't understand how you can see it messed up. They're winning. They haven't messed up at all. They are 100% winning.
No, I'm just saying what I think. I just think that, you know, they've messed up that bad for it to be so much of a constructive plan. Obviously, there's a plan to it, but for them to mess up like this, I just don't think it was in the plan.
Yeah, okay.
For the mess up.
The puppets, the puppets look like they're messed up, innit? But the people who are leading them obviously haven't. They're obviously living nice, innit? Like, obviously, this is a global thing. This ain't this English government or French government. This is a global thing, innit? So what I'm saying,
as well.
So what I'm saying
is, it's just one government.
yeah. So what I'm saying, is, it's a plan. It's a plan, innit? Because obviously, if it wasn't a plan, like all these governments wouldn't work in conjunction with each other. They would have followed New Zealand, and we would have all got through it. But what they've done, they've worked in conjunction with each other, obviously for a plan, innit? It's not this coincidence. And like, boy, that's Final Destination shit right there, bruv, if you want to call it coincidence.
But it just sounds like the whole thing with the whole microchip thing and everything like that. If that was the case, it's to say that every single doctor and scientist is agreeing with that type of thing. When that's not the case.
No, it would be a general consensus of the mainstream doctors and scientists, yeah, of course. But at the same time, that's neither here or there, Renee, because the chip is happening. There's biometrics.
No, it is, because you're saying like all the governments are all conspiring together and
no,
you know,
I'm not saying all the governments. You just assume that.
I'm just trying to make a point, like with the whole microchip thing and all this thing. you know, if that was the case, everybody would be all for it and doing it, but it's not. It's not the case. And it's just like the case with the microchip.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. So
every single
what you're saying, what the statement that you're saying, yeah, is a very basic or ridiculous statement because of the fact of this, yeah. Now, we already know there's one level of people, the elite. Then we know there's another level of people which are the puppets, yeah. The puppets are the government puppets, yeah. So each government has its own regulations, own discrepancies, just like B&Q. There's like 700 B&Qs in the country, but not every B&Q goes by the same laws and infractions. Someone can come into my store and not wear a mask, but someone can go into the B&Q store in Greenwich and get chucked out for not wearing a mask. So each country will have its own rules and regulations. What you've just said is quite bait, like it's quite a basic statement. So regardless if they're working together, be it Mr. Block and Mr. Quell, the Block and Quell.
This is a worldwide thing that's
happening. I know. But like I said, I'm just giving you an example. I'm just giving you a basic example. I'm giving you a basic example.
There's different governments and they all run by their own rules and regulations.
So I'm giving you a basic example. So Mr. Block and Mr. Quell, who own B&Q, have a certain agenda they want, yeah, is to bring in profit. Then what they say is to their regional managers, get your local managers to bring in as much profit, yeah? I don't care how you do it. There's loads of regional managers, they go about it completely different in different regions. Then their regions go into each shop and say, we want most profit, so we want you to do that. So what they do, in each shop, they have their own different discernments. So regardless, the elite will have a plan, and the UK and the US think, right, the best way to get depopulation is by causing wars. So that's what they do. But then you might find India, they think the best way to get depopulation is by causing disease. But they all still work for the same person. It's just that the fact they use different tactics in different areas. So when we're saying a government, yeah, of a country, we're saying a puppet which works in its own infractions, but it's still joined to one movement at the top. And this one movement has now globally basically shown itself to the point where we're saying that, look, we're going to be working in conjunction with each other. What do you think the EU is? What do you think the EU is? It's a collective of governments working together with each other, isn't it? But each country still has its own cultures, own laws and regulations. It doesn't mean that everyone's doing what the EU says. It means that there's a set of regulations set by a regulator standard, and then each country has to go by its own level. So on that basis, what I'm saying is that our country, just like US, yeah, they are as corrupt as each other, and their agenda is depopulation, but by different means. And what they're doing now is come together and done a virus which is overtaken, psychologically killing people more so than anything else.
The thing is that if the UK had any sense at all, they would have followed what New Zealand or China did, and we probably wouldn't be in as bad as a mess as what we are now. But they haven't, because they're clueless and don't have a clue, and they're all in shambles.
Not at all. The government, the UK government, the United States government, these governments are all winning right now.
Are they not out?
They're all winning right now.
The situation that we're in now.
They're all winning right now.
The UK decided to do whatever they wanted to do, which hasn't worked.
They're all winning right now. They're all winning right now. They're setting more regulations.
But they're privileged people.
They're setting more regulations. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're privileged. They're still winning. It doesn't matter about anything. It doesn't matter if they're black. It doesn't matter if they're women. They're still winning. They still have an agenda, which they're still winning.
Anyway, like the rich and famous, they was winning anyway. They're in lockdown in their bloody big mansions with their swimming pools and all these rooms, and can probably pay someone to go and travel somewhere or do something. They was privileged anyway. Yeah,
so they're winning. They're winning even more so because they're widening the gap between the privileged and the unprivileged. So the unprivileged now have less privileges in their own lives, because privileges before we had were like to go out whenever we want and mix with whatever people want. We've lost our own privileges now. So that's why I'm saying they're winning. It doesn't matter about what they got, it's what we've not got now. So they're winning. They're winning. They're winning. Boom. Right. Cool. So,
b.dot, did you have anything to add to that?
Yeah.
So, what I would like to say is, firstly, like on the government thing, or governments working together and all sorts, it is absolutely inevitable. That's never going to happen. You'll always have one government that will not like the way another government is trying to deal with them, or always think one government is trying to do them out of something. It will always happen. It will happen once, before we was here, while we're here, and when we're gone. Yeah, like that was always going to happen. I'm gonna now. What I'm gonna speak about is, I'm speaking from the average person that don't understand anything to do with what we are speaking about right now, and just see it as, what's the government doing to help us? Yeah, and in that sort of aspect, I do agree with what Renee is saying. Reason being, if I'm just an average person, just looking straight up, going, what's the government doing? Like, I'm scared. I want some clarity. I want to know what they're doing. I need to know that they're helping, and they're seeing that other countries are helping their people and getting better, and we're just getting worse. Like, you're gonna think, what the F are you doing? This is clueless. You don't even know what you're doing, and then you're not even explaining it to us properly. Then we're confused. Like, it's gonna cause a madness regardless. You know what I mean? But in the same, like, on the flip side of that, I do get where you're coming from, Jay. You know what I mean? Because this plan has been in, like, if this plan, alleged plan, has been in place for years. They've been doing it for years. Every so often, this happens, that happens, and it's always, it's because of this, even though it really ain't, and you know it ain't. They just put that out there to try and make you think that. You know what I mean? So I fully understand where both of you are coming from. You know what I mean? My thing is, I believe that not just the people, you know what I mean, but the elites you're talking about, the governments and all these high-ass people, yeah, from different countries, yeah, are the ones that are opening, because the thing about it is, we might be doing it, and we might be saying, oh, what are they doing? They're not doing nothing. You know what I mean? And other people in their countries might be saying, oh, they might not do nothing here, but they're doing something here. Bruv, the elites, these government people are the ones that are talking and saying, what is the country doing? Why is it that we're getting a bit better and you lot are getting nothing but worse? What are you doing really? What is your plan? What's the end game for this? I understand what your main game is. What are you doing here? Like, what's that about? And that's what I think they can't explain. That one little thing is, what are we actually doing when it comes to this? We know what our game is, but what we actually doing when it comes to putting this out to the people, putting this out to around the world, because the whole world's gonna know about it. So when the world when it gets portrayed to the world, bruv, Britain are dickheads when it gets portrayed to the world, bruv, and to the people there. The government are dickheads. It's straight up and down of it. They don't know what they're doing. That's what people are gonna think. No matter what game, no matter how much they're winning, how much they're losing, bruv, I believe that the country are doing certain things which is making them look a bit idiotic. Yeah, and when they're getting called out on it, bruv, they don't really know what to say. Because if you had a proper plan, you know what I mean, then you would have a plan on what to say when you're in front of people. And they don't. They really don't. When they get asked certain questions, they're like, but if we go back to the numbers here, or if we go back to this, bruv, they're not asking you about going back here or going back there. They're asking you about now. And they've got nothing to say. You go to New Zealand and they go, what are we doing now? They can give you a full detail. You go to certain other countries, they can give you a full detail of what's going on. And that's not happening over here, which is making them look bad.
Have you never heard of a fool guy?
But their plan is making them look bad.
Have you never heard of a fool guy?
Oh no, I understand there's things called a fool guy, bruv. But here's the thing. Who is the fool guy? Tell me who the real fool guy is.
Well, it looks like it's gonna be the government, isn't it? Going to be the government, isn't it?
It looks like it's going to be the.
Well, it's going to be a few people. It's going to be a few people from the government.
That's the thing. If there was a fool guy, then you could actually, then people would look to the fool guy and go, all right, then cool, what one.
No, but what I'm saying is,
there's not even a fool guy to
so
there's not even a fool guy, bro. So there's no one to look at apart from them.
At the moment, everyone's looking at Boris Johnson, Michael Gove, and Matt Hancock.
Don't forget Chris Whitty.
Yeah. Mainly, I'm saying about they're looking at Priti Patel. They're looking at everyone, but I'm saying that these are the three main people that come up on the screen and make statements to the people. So these are the three people that people got their eyes on. So quickly, first of all, I just wanted to say about you're saying that governments never work together. That statement again is false. Obviously, if you go back to First World War, what do you think the governments were doing in the First World War and the Second World War?
What statement's false? Sorry, what statement's false? Wait, what statement is false?
That it's inevitable.
Yeah, so I know.
So the statement that he's saying is false is that it's inevitable that that not all governments are going to work together. You know what I mean? They won't. I know there might be some, you know what I mean? But I'm telling you now, not all governments are going to work together.
No, it don't need to be all
harmoniously.
It just needs to be the powerful government.
It's not going to happen.
It doesn't. All it needs to be is the influencing governments and the powerful governments that need to work together. Every other government are a small fry, innit? You got to remember, the bigger governments, the bigger countries, they own them more.
Then why do countries use economical jackals?
Well, what happens
Why do countries use them?
What economical jackals?
Yeah, why do they use them?
Yeah, in what way do they use them then?
If they're willing to work with each other, they wouldn't have a need for an economical jackal, bro.
Yeah,
which is someone that goes into their country, goes up to their government. Hold on one sec, I'm just explaining what an economical jackal is for people that don't understand.
Yeah, please, because I'm just looking back into the screen.
Yes.
I don't know what it is.
So, and if you want any further explanation on it, look for a documentary called The Corporation, and they will tell you what an economical jackal is in full detail, But just on a quick note, it's a person that one government will send into another country to go and speak to that other government, and say, "Oh, we need you to work with us with this, this, and this." If they say no, then they're the sort of people to start scandals and have assassinations happen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And there'll be no need for them sort of things if people are going to work together.
Well, okay. First of all, let's just get a basis here. Yeah, well, I don't know what it is with you guys, but whenever I say something, it feels like you think I'm talking about extreme ways. Yeah. So first of all, when I say governments work together, I don't mean every single government on this planet work together. Yeah. I say governments work together as a general thing, just like saying that. Just like saying that people get angry generally, innit? Like when they get frustrated in situations. There's a general thing, innit? I'm not saying that every single person or every single thing gets angry. I'm saying generally people governments work together. And we see this in world wars, obviously. We see it in trade agreements. We see it in
you've got to remember though, in the World War though, there was one country coercing the two countries to make work together.
So what World War? So we had. How many countries were involved in the World War? In the 2 World Wars?
3.
No, not
3.
at all. Not at all, fam. So you're telling me Italy
So how many was involved?
You're telling me Italy weren't involved. You're telling me Germany weren't involved. You're telling me France weren't involved. You're telling me United States aren't involved. You're telling me UK ain't involved.
Bruv,
that's 5
Hold
already.
on 1 second, yeah?
That's
hold
5
on for
already.
1 second. Hold on for 1 second. The reason why I say mainly 3, because 3 are it's 3 fundamental countries that are involved. When you're talking about France and talking about the others, they're the ones that got told to be involved. You got to remember that, bruv. If you read properly, you will get told. They got told. If you don't get involved, you'll be invaded.
And they got involved. Okay, cool. Okay, let's not talk about the wars then. Let's not talk about the wars. Let's talk about more relevant stuff.
Let me just finish what I'm saying. Yeah. So they were, as I said, they were forced to be involved. Otherwise they would have been invaded by Germany. Germany made them be involved. Yeah. So other than that, there was 3 main countries: the UK, Germany, and America. Prescott Bush. If you look into Prescott Bush, you will realise World War I and World War II, he owned something called Union Bank that was funding both countries to fight each other.
That's fine. Okay, let's not talk about history. Let's talk about more relevant stuff, yeah? So let's look at trade deals between countries, between China, between Japan, between United States, between UK, between all the European countries. Are they not working together in trade deals? Did I not come to a compromise?
There was already some countries saying that they didn't want to work with Britain.
It doesn't matter what some countries are saying already. Yeah, we're saying generally. Yeah, over the last 10 years, has there not been trade deals where people are importing and exporting food, electronics, and everything else for different countries? Obviously, we don't get rice. We don't have rice here. We get rice from over there. But that's what I'm saying. So governments work together. Governments work together regardless. In whatever format, governments will have to work together. That's how the world spins. We don't build many great car manufacturers here. We have to go across the seas to get the cars. Same with most of our food. Because of our climate, we can't grow a lot of food, so we get food from other countries. This is called governments working together so that they can make money, profit. Yeah. So there has been collaboration between government, and that is always going to be the case, regardless. There's always going to be someone who has to go in and find out about the opponent, yeah, And there's always going to be someone who's going to go in and make threats to the opponent. That's how it works, isn't it? In this whole profit business, they don't have feelings about what people feel. They're like, well, this is money. I need to make this much money. If this person ain't doing this much money, then what we're going to do is that we're going to start a little war, little civil war in a certain village.
That's not working together,
and then that
that's
happens.
forcing someone to work with you.
Yes.
That's really not working together, is it?
But this is what
that's
working
really
together.
together.
But this is what we're talking about generally.
That's
But this is what we're talking about.
That's dictating over someone.
But this is what we're talking about generally, yeah? So we're talking about the elites, yeah? They pass on a message to each country who have to work together under certain criteria, but other criteria they don't have to work together. But this is how it works. So each country has its own agenda that they have to pass through. They have to make their own profits. They have to look after their own people.
Some certain genders have got to coincide with others for them to work together.
Only the elite, yeah, will be the same people that will be working, yeah. Everyone else underneath.
The one people. Sorry, say that again.
So everyone underneath the elite. That's including government. That's including all the puppets that we're seeing, bruv. These are all the people under the elite, bruv. Yeah. All these people, yeah. Under the elite.
As I said, bro, don't think I don't hear you. One thing I want you to say, don't think I don't hear you, because I fully hear what you're saying, bro. Because as I said, I've done the research. I've done research on this and that, bro. And there are certain things that actually ring true. You know what I mean? I'm not saying. So don't think I don't hear you, bro. I fully hear you.
Didn't Donald Trump go and see King Long John? Didn't Donald Trump go and see King Long John? Didn't Donald Trump go and see King Long John? Didn't they make any treatments? Any treatments?
He did.
Okay, cool. So they're working together on certain criteria
what did
format.
they actually achieve though? Like,
Bruv,
what was the main end?
But the thing, this is the thing. To us as people at the bottom, they will never show us what they're benefiting. Bruv, it's just like this, yeah. If I've got a job, yeah, and I need someone on my job, and they're paying me £600. If I was like the elite people, I would come to you and say, B.dot, I've got this job, yeah? Could you help me do it? I'll give you a little £50. And you'll say, wow, £50 for it. Okay, I didn't expect no money for it, but I'll do that, save for that. But I haven't been fair. I've given you less than a tenth of what I've earned, or a quarter of what I've earned. And if I was doing something on a virtue to you, then I would have given you half the money because you've done half the work.
That's called
so this is what they do. So they'll say to us, well, this is what it is, but they're only giving us 10% so that we're satisfied or we're confused. And then the 90%, we never ever see or hear. This is why we don't know about technologies they're using. I mean, even on New Year's Eve, they had the things in the they had fireworks, and then they had all the drones come up, yeah, doing the fist, yeah. Now, you see them drones, you see the position, like the perfection of them drones, how they were all lined up, yeah. People say we see things in the sky. Now we've seen it, yeah. They've got this technology where they can create this kind of thing like that. They can create. We know that they use hologram stuff as well, so we know that they can create images that people are automatically going to think they're real, because we don't know. We haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen them do it. So the first time they do it, we're not going to think, oh, this is the government doing it. We're going to think, wow, that's real. What's going on there? So in all of that, what I'm breaking it down to is that we, as a people, we see such a small percentage of what the government are doing. And what the government show us, yeah, can either be a little bit to benefit us, but mainly to either leave us in confusion, which they've done now, or leave us in a place where we believe, or leave us in a place where we believe we got hope and we can do stuff in life, innit? Without
don't you think that does make them look a bit clueless, though? It does make them look a bit stupid.
But of course, obviously, I look at Matt Hancock and I look at Boris Johnson and I think, you lot are dickheads, you don't even know what you're doing. But that's a game plan. I know I have done that before in my life, where I've been at work here and I've wanted someone to believe that, no, I'm not capable of something. So I don't show them that I'm capable of that thing. And that person has always thought that I'm not capable of that thing. But I could do that thing, bang, easy. But that's what I did, because I didn't want to ever do that thing, innit? I didn't ever want to do that job. So I said, no, I don't know how to do it. No, I'm not going to get the training, boom, boom, boom. And then he thought, oh, wow, this guy's not on it. He's not dedicated, and he doesn't even know what he wants. He's just doing whatever he's doing. But at the same time, you know, the unit manager knows that I'm probably the second best in my shop at running things. So in that, It's all game plans, man. And we know that use game plans. They've been using game plans for the entire time of my 40 years on this planet. So
no, again, I hear what you're saying, bro. I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying I do hear what Renee's saying at the same time. Understand certain things or don't look into certain things like we do. Yeah, they look absolutely clueless, bro. Absolutely clueless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I do agree with Renee as well. Like,
that's why I'm saying they're doing a good job.
I agree with both of you. Don't think I don't agree with the both of you. I do agree with both of you, innit?
Well, that's why I'm saying they're doing a good job, man.
You know what I mean?
That's why I'm saying they're doing a good job, mate. Them lot are sleeping nice.
Yeah. So like, yeah, it's just one of them ones, man.
Other than that,
what we talking about? Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, comment. We're there to meet you in the comments. Don't know what time it is.
Yeah, flipping. So we talked about generally all of that stuff. Other than that, the only thing we haven't really looked at is NHS and stuff like that. Are we going to look at that?
And then being overwhelmed.
Yeah, to be fair, I haven't seen a lot of information on that.
Do we leave that for another time, because we could get into it again still?
Yeah, I haven't really done.
Do we leave that for next week's show?
Yeah, I haven't really looked into that as such.
We can lead in with that. We can lead in with the NHS and being overwhelmed, innit?
One other thing, yeah, they said that 72% of people are asymptomatic.
Really? Right.
That doesn't work. That doesn't make sense in numbers.
I ain't heard that. That's the first I heard of that, boy. That's mad.
So I did a bit of research into like asymptomatic people, transmission, and all that.
Yeah.
They were basically saying that asymptomatic individuals are up to 70% of cases. Which, for me, when I saw that number, I was like, but that can't even make sense, because if 100% of people are catching it, so say 100% of a million people are catching it, and but they've got recovery rates and death rates. So how do they work out the asymptomatic rate? I don't know how they work that out, to be fair.
I don't know. I really don't know, man. It's just mine. It just seems a bit crazy that many people would have it and have no symptoms whatsoever, or not even exhibit symptoms, really. You know what I mean? Crazy. Like, don't get me wrong, I know there's been a few people that have exhibited nothing at all. You know what I mean? Absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? You could see them going about their normal day, basically, but obviously they're not. They're isolating. But most people I know usually get at least one symptom out of them, or at least get the 3 symptoms that they consider the most common symptoms.
Yeah, or get them mildly.
You know what I mean? They'll get the fever, they'll get the cough. You know what I mean? That's a given, definite. You know what I mean? Or they'll either get because they've mentioned that headaches and vomiting and stuff's involved now, but the one that a lot of people have been getting is the loss of taste and smell. Yeah. So, like, usually someone would exhibit some sort of symptom like that, but so that's a mad number to be asymptomatic still.
Yeah, I was thinking, imagine that this virus, it didn't take your sense of smell and taste, but it took your sense of hearing and sight. That would be mad.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That would be
crazy. That would be crazy.
You know how scared I would be of that? I would be so fearful, blood. Oh my gosh.
That's 2 of your main senses that you use every single day.
Yeah, you proper rely on to get about on that. Oh my days.
Yeah, that'd be mad.
But okay then, cool. Let's just finish it off here then, I guess.
All
right. Boom. So thanks for watching, guys.
Yo.
Obviously leave comments, anything that you agree with or even disagree with, shall I say, let us know, man, because
And don't forget,
we've all got points of view out here.
Don't forget, ask us questions. We want to answer them.
Yeah,
we
mate.
actually want to answer questions. So, like, yeah, holler us in the comments, man.
100. Help yourselves, everyone. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Press this button here right now. Jeez.
Yo, press this big red button.
Press this button. Here.
Button.
Red one.